set now for the juvenile fillies. To 14 of them across the track. Field set on their way. And the dance on the outside, broke a little sideways with Pro KK, but meanwhile it's going to be stopped. But running on now, and Somali Lemonade's got 8 to make up. They come to the top of the lane. Stop shopping, Maria's got a lot left. Stop shopping, Maria goes on. Sweet Cat is right there. Hard not to like. Royal Body is running on. Past the 8th ball, they come. Stop shopping, Maria for the run. Still under a hand right as they come to the 16th. Stephanie's Kitten coming out late. Yes, Stephanie's Kitten coming fast. Stephanie's Kitten, stop chopping Maria. Stephanie's Kitten's won. Watched the chances, broke smartly, but so did Terror from the Cape. On the inside, Sky Lantern, the Grey going well. If he can get through. Sky Lantern, the Grey looking for somewhere to run. Wide open. It's Terror from the Cape hanging on. Terror from the Cape tries to go all the way. On the outside now, here comes Flotilla in the light blue. Flotilla is absolutely flying. Watch the chances in there too. But Flotilla has gone right on by. And Flotilla is coming home to score. Flotilla has won it just about 2 in the end. It'll be Watch the Chances, Summer of Fun, coming on to finish third.
Live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning. Welcome to the Handicappers Report on this Sunday morning. Seth, Merrow, and hey, Steve Bick, guest handicapper. Good morning.
How about this?
Two full hours
Two,
of Bick.
2 Bicks in 1. Like, whatever happened to Certs? Was it Certs?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Certs.
Yeah, two mints in 1. Yeah.
Right? With Retson.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch, we're in trouble already. There's a whole bunch of things I've thought of lately that were big when we were kids, and now I think they're still around, but are like brands that sort of melted away. Dristan.
Oh, the
tiny caps, the tiny time pills or whatever the hell they were in there, right? What right. Dristan? What happened to Dristan? It's like, am I right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes.
I'm telling you, right or wrong, as Nick says.
Talking about things from the past, racetrack things, I interviewed Shug the other day, and he was talking about when he got interested in the game, and he was kind of remembering. Remember, I had forgotten all about this, but remember when we first came to the track, after the race, you would go up to the window to cash your ticket, and you knew what the payout was because the teller would write it on a little piece of paper and put it in that little window that was up next to the tellers. There was the little window that they would close, and it was just be a piece of paper with the payoffs written on it.
I got to tell you,
that was before your time.
Before my time, this is before. This is when dinosaurs roamed the earth. What do you? No, I have no.
I think if you go over there, I'll have to find where, but I think there are still that little window is still in some of the spots. So. I'll have to find it, and I'll grab a picture of it. But yeah, they used to write it down on a piece of paper, stick it in the little window, so you walked up, and yeah, it was a little more primitive than it is now.
Huh. I zero recollection. I mean, I remember when I hit my first IRS ticket, and I mean, it was Alabama Day, 1990 for Go for Wand, and you know, the machine back then, they put the ticket in, and the machine would like, and I was like, oh, the machine broke, and the guy says, oh, this is an IRS ticket. I was like, what does that mean? I had no idea. I'd only been playing seriously, I don't know, couple of years, and it was a $700 exacta. I've told this story on the radio a million times. Ballinar and keynote speaker, and the only reason I even played the race was with a girlfriend, and hit the early double. Not really a doubles player, but hit the double, and it was like an $80 double, and I think I had it twice, so it was like $160.
Flush.
Yeah, and she wanted to go downtown to the shoe depot. And so I said, all right, let's go downtown, and we'll come back for Go for One. We'll be back in plenty of time for the Alabama. So we start to walk out, and we had been in the upper carousel. So we come down the escalator. Now we're going through the carousel, and as we're heading out, she runs into a friend from Cortland State. So she starts talking, and I'm like, you know what? You talk. I'm going to play this third race. So I'm going through, and I see this horse that I keyed, this Ballinar, who was the 7, and I ended up keying the horse with 4, the 1, 3, 5, and 9. So it was all the odd horses. It was 7 with 1, 3, 5, and 9, and I boxed it. So it was $16 tickets, and they're coming around the turn, and this Ballinar is 16, 17 to 1. They're coming around the turn, and it's the graphics with just the numbers.
Yeah.
And the 7, 1, 3, 5. And there's nobody else in sight. And I'm like, oh my God. And you can see this Ballinar is running off the screen. I'm like, wow. I said, we're going to hit this thing, for real money. And all of a sudden, as the camera shifts off the turn, I see there's a blur coming. Like, what is that? And there had been a guy with me. And he said, what do you got here? I said, I got the 7 with the 1, 3, 5, 9. And so now we're watching, and there's a horse coming, and it's the 9. It's the 9. And so now they're ding-donging. They hit the wire together, and it's either 7-9 or 9-7. And the guy's like, do you got it? You got it? I said, I'm showing the tick. I go 7-9, 9-7, 7-9. The boy got it. And so we look up. The 9 is 28 to 1, 27 to 1. So it's the 2 longest shots on the board. Mike Arrow.
In from New England?
My man. And Mikey Arrow at a huge price. And it paid $721, the exacta. So the machine locked up. That was my first, and I had no idea. You got to go take a picture and the whole thing. You go stand on those, those prints on the like your footprints in the concrete in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater.
Grauman's Chinese IRS.
You can't call it the Chinese Theater anymore.
We are in the 21st century. Speaking of New England racing, it's funny, Mormino brought in an old broadsheet, and I was leafing through it yesterday, and there was a Mike Welch byline from Suffolk, which was kind of, it might have been Rockingham, actually.
I send him stuff like that all the time, because although now that I've retired the charcoal grill, Tina bought me a gas grill for Father's Day, and I had all these stacks. I've been making a joke of it, of stacks of literally every summer's form for like 15 years until I started printing out, online. And so when I'd light the grill to get the stoker, the charcoal stoker, I'd crumple up 3 pages of old forms. and the stuff I found, I mean, I got so many fun, first-time starters that became stars, and then less, more obscure horses, and I take pictures of them, and I'll send them off to trainers and say, look at this, look what I found here from 1997, and it's pretty funny. But I do that with Welsh and also I found that those Pebs of Tony Black and Rich Migliori in the same form from like August. It was when Tony had this streak where he won 9 straight races at Atlantic City and then also at Keystone. He tied a record that was like 50 years old.
Tony, a regular on your radio show, yeah.
Everybody knows. Everybody should know Tony Black.
But I wonder if a lot of new people remember Peb, which was a regular, and people would wait for that in the racing.
Pierre Belloc, and of course, and the son, and the great characters. Most trainers and horsemen and even owners will tell you you weren't anybody in the game until Peb did a character of you. That's something we miss.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those of you that are looking to break into the game, there's an area of opportunity. If anybody out there, if you're a young artist, there's an opening for you.
That's a good idea.
Right?
Like
By the way, Lenny's going to be with us on Loose on the Lead, and we got the Lenny Shulman collection here, all of Lenny's tomes, and
including his latest.
His latest,
yeah,
head to head, a series of interviews, and during his career, and they're all fun size.
Yeah, share size would be a little. I like that. Before we get to today, I just wanted to touch on your play of the day yesterday. You've been doing very, very well for the team, the play of the day team. Yesterday, Brendan's War, top of the stretch. I thought you were going to get another one home. And then on the outside, you could see the other horse had a little more momentum. But you ran second, which still gets the money for the team. But it was another nice play of the day pick.
And again, it's these, New York breds long on the turf. This was a maiden 40 for state breds, going a mile and a 16th. And there's just so little separating them. And you cannot take these short prices on favorites. And favorites are going to win. I mean, it's not impossible that a favorite wins, but it is the right place to take shots. And one of the funny things about this is Noble Conquest, Ed DeRosa on my show Friday, Ed picked Noble Conquest 6-1. So was Brendan's War 6-1. However, when the gates sprung, Noble Conquest had ticked up to 7-1, and Brendan's War was down to 4-1. So it's one of those cases like you talked about last week, where you see overlays. You did it with the Chad horse with Sifting Sands, where you see a horse 28-1. I'm sure people yesterday with Lexitonian. I mean, that was just
crazy
insanity that horse goes off at 35-1. I mean, just ridiculous. But that's one of the advantages of. Frankly, it's one of the advantages of playing, on your phone and having the opportunity to move quickly and note, price fluctuations and overlays.
Stay nimble. Nimble. Absolutely.
You're known. Jack B. Nimble Merrow is what they call him.
All right, you ready to jump in?
Sunday. All right, I don't know when this is
Sunday after.
This is an adventure for me.
The inaugural effort, but I have total confidence. We'll kick it off in the opener today. And again, it's going to be another great day up here. Friday and yesterday were gorgeous up here, and I think today more of the same. The opener today, maiden 50 claimers. They're scheduled to go on the grass at 5.5 furlongs. How'd you see the opener?
I thought you said you were going to introduce, and so I figured you would.
No, I throw it to you, and then you kick it off, and then it comes back to me, and then you introduce, and then.
All right.
You'll get into the swing.
This is a maiden 50, and to me, it's kind of a similar scenario to those state bred races we talk about. And I can't take. I mean, as a win candidate, I cannot take the entry, too enthusiastically, or the 11 Loaded Joe. They both, certainly from a competition standpoint, they both make sense, and I won't be surprised if they're amongst the superfecta, but combined they're 0 for 24, and that's essentially career maiden kinds of status. Now, horses like this, they do find fields that they can beat. And this might actually be one. But usually you find in these races that horses that are lightly raced and, aren't proven career maidens, that's where you want to lean. I ended up finding Wayne Potts with Uncle Moe's Cat, the 5, and you're getting what? 8-1, I think. 8-1. You get Rosario. It's a turf sprint. There isn't a better turf sprint jock around than Joel Rosario, and cuts back, a furlong or half furlong from the most recent pair of efforts. They've been better on the turf, and I think there'll be some speed for Uncle Moe's Cat to try to run him down. I then jumped in with Everesting, who's 2-1 and is dropping significantly. That's a distinct. You drop from maiden special company into maiden 50. It's a drop. Also putting on blinkers from the rail. Gaffleone is going to go and add to the pace. But I'm looking for Uncle Moe's Cat at 8-1 to pick him up late. I
have a 2, the 1A, 3, and 4. I did put Everesting on top. I just, as you say, dropping down, but was in this condition 3 back. One start of the career in for a tag, and that was arguably the best start of the career. There's a better number on the page, but I think you look at the buyer combined with the finishing position, that race 3 back at this level says getting back to this level. And I like the way Gaffleone is riding at the meet, so that's a little bit of a bonus. Second slot, I did use part of the entry. Congrats for Glory, who 2 back ran a pretty good race for a 40 tag. Last time for this 50 tag, tossed in a clunker, but it was on a yielding course. Now, I think this course still, given what we had Thursday into Friday, probably has some give to it. So I'm a little dicey here, but I'll use that one given on the race 2 back. Similar scenario for Racing Sand. The race 2 back was pretty good and competes with these. The race last time, not as convincing, but a 10-1 with Irod Ortiz on board. I'll toss that one in. I looked at Uncle Moe's Cat, and you mentioned it, the factor that was pulling me in that direction. I didn't use that one, but I'm scared. Joe Rosario just so potent with these turf sprints. I looked at that one, but left it out. I went 2, the 1 entry, 3, and 4.
5, 2, 1, and 11. Loaded Joe. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Loaded Joe, and is also going to get that pace set up as well. It's a fun opener.
Absolutely. All right, now you set me.
Oh, okay. Second race, 2-year-old fillies going long on the grass, mile and a 16th, and you can certainly cross out your MTOs. You're not going to have to worry about them, and it leaves us with a field of 7.
I think it's a fun race. I went 4, 8, 3, and 1. I put Waterville on top. There was a sibling Strawn to Gold, just ran a couple days ago. First, second, and first in the first 3 starts of the career. There was a sibling called Carrie's Ring, ran 4th in the career debut, but then was second, and first. Sibling called Seafoam, again, ran just a couple days ago. Yeah. Seafoam, second, and first. So I think you have some siblings there that are showing some win early talent. Kitten's Joy is a good first outsider. Christophe Clement, very good with firsters. You're getting 6-1 here on a horse that I think has the nature and nurture factor that I like.
I knew we weren't going to go very long before
a little bit of some breeding and the trainer. And the 6-1 price, I like that one. Barrett in the second spot. Vancouver, okay, is a first-time starter. So far this year, 32 first-time starters, 9 of them have hit the exacta. There was a sibling called Evil Lynn that was 3rd in debut, won the second start. It's Bill Mott, another guy. Really, the last couple of months in particular, he's been doing well with firsters. So I thought that one was interesting at a 10-1 price. And Blissful from Cherie DeVoe, paid a lot of money for this horse, been working down at Keeneland. Won't be surprised if that one is okay. And I don't think you can ignore the Wesley Ward runner on the inside. But Waterville is really intriguing to me today. 4, 8, 3, and 1.
I used Waterville prominently. I went 3, 4, 5, and 8, and I put Blissful on top. Kerry Bell, the full sibling, a stake winner, and I think you got to expect that Cherie DeVoe has this one ready to fire. That gate work, 2 back. Always like to see a sharp gate work in close proximity to the debut, but has been working consistently. I would like to have seen, you get horses going 2 turns in their debut. It's one of the reasons that the debut statistics over a mile are relevant when it comes to evaluating. And this has not been a strength for Cherie so far. The last year and a half, 0 for 18 debuting at the distance. But Empire Maker out of the Polish numbers mare has every right to appreciate the trip. You mentioned so Blissville on top for me, and not the favorite, 7-2 second choice. Waterville for all the reasons you mentioned, and of course that damn Strike It Rich, really quite nice. And you would have to expect that if Waterville Lake is going to name a horse Waterville, they've got some expectation for the homebred, and the Kitten's Joy out of Strike It Rich, another one bred for the trip, and Tyler Gaffleone aboard, and actually has ridden when paired up with Christophe. They've done well. The other Clement that was 8-5 on David Aragona's morning line, Silvery Rill. I'll respect Christophe in here. Here's somebody with a lot. I mean, look at this. Speaking of that debut over a mile statistic, 82 of them, 17% with a positive ROI for Christophe. So it's his wheelhouse. And of course, he's got the pair in here. And I also thought that Barrett was worth inclusion. Another positive ROI stat on Bill Mott when it comes to debuting them long, and he's a part owner in this one, Barrett.
Yeah, so it's a fun second race, no question about it. Third race this afternoon, plain vanilla $25,000 claimers. The trip is 6.5 furlongs.
Well, you've got a number of droppers in here, and that sort of characterizes the group. I ended up 1-3-6-2 looking for Loki, Danny Gargan, and Gargan off to a very nice start. His horses have run well, and I guess he had the stake runner. Was that yesterday? But other than that, running well. And this is clearly a situation where Randy Hill and Matt Gatsis, the Gatsis team, they claim one for 50 and they're dropping it for 50%. So this is one of those win at Saratoga type scenarios. Looking for Loki from the inside, forwardly placed type. 2-1 though on the tote. Mega Tap, another dropper. This one for Steve Asmussen, was at Lone Star, then went up to Indianapolis and to Shelbyville, to Indiana. That's the most recent work. They must think they can win here with Mega Tap, dropping from the recent diploma at Lone Star, of all places, going turf to dirt.
With the Stu ball on top. Yep. Stu Elliott was riding that day.
There you go. And Ricardo Santana aboard. And speaking of Asmussen, how about a quick update? 9-4-4-0, so 5 wins away from tying. He's got 3 in at Saratoga today. He's in 4 races at Ellis today with 5 horses, and then 2 at Monmouth. So, I mean, if it's a miraculous day for the Asmussen barn, it could happen. Chuck Simon had a very funny Twitter quip this morning where he said, half the racetracks in America have a sign. Congratulations, Steve Asmussen.
I said the same thing to somebody the other
right?
day.
It could happen at Louisiana Downs, Saratoga, Ellis Park, Monmouth.
Yeah, I would love to get all these signs from every track that has them, and they must
funny.
all have them prepared. Certainly, I have it 7, 1, 3, and 4. I put Eucharist on top just because I was all over the place in this race, but I thought this one, off the first couple of starts last year, had more promise than we saw in the career debut. Now, maybe this horse has just gone in the wrong direction, but on the class relief today, I thought, and with the one under the belt this year, I thought maybe rebound and maybe there's still some upside being lately raced. Irod Ortiz elected to go on board for Mike Dove and Company and Mike Maker, who is, the leading trainer. And so I went in that direction, not with a lot of confidence, but there was nobody else that offered much confidence either. Looking for Loki in the second spot. This is a race, most of them with only the 1 victory, but looking for Loki with 3 victories on the resume already. I was just a little concerned about what you said. They claimed for 50 and they come back for 25. You're always kind of scratching your chin with those types. And Megatap, the Asmussen runner who broke the maiden for the maiden special and then comes for the tag up here at Saratoga. But again, I think that last kind of signal moving in the right direction could be primed for better. So for me, 7, 1, 3, and 4, which will lead us to our first break of the hour. We will come back, continue looking at Saratoga for a Sunday afternoon. Please stay tuned.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the Capital Region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Yes?
Yes,
We're back?
we're back.
We're back. We're back on the Nature and Nurture Show. And fourth race, starter allowance. Another turf sprint. It's a steady diet of turf sprints. Seth, what do we like?
Oh, not to get off on a tangent, but I meant to ask you at the top of the show. We had you Zoom last week because you were down at Colonial. I've never been.
Oh, so much fun. So much fun until the biblical storm. I mean, Woodbury Payne, it was about 2 o'clock, and Woodbury leaned into me and Tina and said, y'all probably should get on the road. Armageddon's on its way.
That's a bad sign.
So, I mean, we actually, I don't know how, but we somehow slipped out of, headed out toward Richmond, and then I'm watching the feed because there were the stakes coming up. The DeHaas was going to be the first stake. And the storm it was scary how much rain came down and how, but I don't know how it pinballed around and it missed us in the car and clobbered them. They were delayed a good 45 minutes, an hour almost, and then they ended up canceling or postponing the DeHaas, and then another race, then they ran a race, and then another storm hit them. But it's a wonderful, for those that want to put something on your proverbial racetrack list, Colonial, really nice. And 20 minutes from Richmond, 20 minutes from Williamsburg. Beautiful facility. Reminded me a lot, actually, of Indiana Grand, which I was at earlier this year. It's been a kooky tour. We're heading to Del Mar in a couple of weeks too. So we're seeing some places. I mean, I've been to Del Mar for Breeders' Cup week, but not for summer. But Colonial, really, really nice.
Nice. All right. Fourth race, I have a 10, 4, 5, and 3. I put Translate on top. Tried the boys last time in a starter allowance and, ran okay. Comparatively speaking, the number was okay compared to this bunch. Cuts back to 5.5 from the 7 that day. Gets back in against the ladies today. So I'm going to tilt in that direction. Irad Ortiz on board. Second spot, Lily Simone goes out for Dave Donk, who had a nice upset winner. I had him on Friday and had the nice upset winner early in the card yesterday, so that was great to see. Broke the maiden last time for a 50 tag. I think he's going to fit nicely with this group. Seemed to be one of those horses that maybe was getting the hang of it as we went through the first series of races and finally broke through last time. I think this horse can string a couple good efforts together. And Christophe Clement also with a lightly raced horse who could be moving in the right direction with Smooth Pebble I think could be a player in with this group also. Being lightly raced, having those numbers moving in the direction that will put the horse squarely in with this bunch this afternoon. For me, I have a 10, 4, 5, and 3.
I went 10, 6, 4, and agree for all the same reasons as Seth, with the Falcone trainee, translate, the tonalist filly. No need to further elaborate. Let me talk about instead the 6 in here, Jade's Jelly, and Jade's Jelly, Broberg, who's still feeling his way in New York, but very, very capable with this ilk. And I thought that the Leah filly was live here. 2 much improved efforts, the last pair, including clearing the claiming condition, and then getting eligible for this. So I thought that Jade's Jelly at a decent price. What are you looking at? 6 to 1. Eric Cancel, who right now is absolutely just quagmired, and I thought yesterday it looked like he might shake off the problematic scenario that he's been involved in.
He was coming in, and he'd been
what's
riding really well, but
exactly.
It gets tough up here.
Well, and then you start to get down on yourself, and you question everything, and you start making poor decisions, and it very, very difficult right now. One for the meet, and he'll break out, but it's a little challenging to be very confident about tabbing horses with him. Lily Simone as well, for all the same reasons, and Smooth Pebble. So we're actually pretty close in there, but I was trying to get a price going with Jade's Jelly a little.
Another fun maiden race in the 5th, state-bred maiden 2-year-olds. They will go 3/4 of a mile.
This group of state-breds, I ended up putting Whittington Park on top, the Brad Cox, and it just so happens that Marshall Graham and his partner Clay Sanders bred this one, and 10 Strike Racing, Marshall Graham joins us.
Perfect time.
In the next hour. So that was not the intent, to have a talking point, essentially. But this one, and as it happens, Whittington Park been working with Timbuktu, and thanks to our friend Mike Merrow for that little tidbit that came across the wire to me this morning during the show already. And I thought that the 7-2 was appealing. Rotney, the Mike Baker with the experience, adding blinkers, coming out of that race that Bourbon's Hope won and was in the closest proximity, came back after with a bullet, and Rotney makes perfect sense. The homebred run happy for Bill Butler. And Kenner. I wanted to get Kenner in at a price. Yeah. 15 to 1 on Jamie Ness invading from Delaware. And again, a sharp gate work, 2 back in preparing for the debut. Leoban, who's the unfortunate Leoban. This a Timonium purchase for real money, $160,000, and I thought that Ness would be ready with this one. 15 to 1 coming in out of town, and Tin Pan Alley, out of respect, the $300,000 candy ride for Peter Brandt and Chad Brown.
Yeah, I didn't use Kenner. Kenner scares me, though. I went 3, 6, 2, and 1. I put Rotney on top, and I really debated. Tin Pan Alley is interesting to me at the 4 to 1 for Chad Brown, but I eventually went with Rotney with the experience. There's a sibling called Looking for Trouble that was 4th in debut, won the 2nd start. We'll see if this one can live up to the older sibling. As you said, I like that bullet workout since the debut effort. Tin Pan Alley, though, there's a sibling called BC Glory Day. The 4 starts of the career. It doesn't have a win, but 3/3 and a 2nd. So there's a little bit of talent there. It's Candy Ride. They paid a decent amount of money for a New York bred. Rod Ortiz hops on board for Chad and Peter Brandt. So I think Tin Pan Alley will be dangerous. Hoo-hoo, that's me for George Abreu. with a high percentage first time out, steady string of workouts, including a bullet, 3 works back. That one can be a player. And yeah, Whittington Park, another one I debated where to place this one in my mix. There are a couple of good win early siblings, Critical Value and Steam Engine, that I think points to this one as being live first time out of the box. It's a fun race, but for me in the 5th, I went 3, 6, 2, and 1. To you again.
6th race. Very good second level allowance, going a mile on the inner. May have a vulnerable favorite in here. Your thoughts?
I'm just looking. I think I have the favorite, right? Miss Tehran's at 7-2. Oh no, New York Girl is 5-2 on the morning line. But I went with Miss Tehran over New York Girl. 5-1, 4 and 10. I thought Miss Tehran coming in off a couple of starts where the horse has been knocking on the door. It's just primed for maybe a better effort in this start up here at Saratoga. I wrote her T's on board, and so I went that direction. New York Girl, I'm going to draw a line through the last race. I think she's better than that. That looks like an aberration. The races just prior are good enough. And Sun Summers, with a good try last time, down at Gulfstream for Mike Maker, and that attracted my attention too. Mike Maker, Luis Saez, can't come up with a pair that are going any better at the meet currently, and so with that team and a horse coming out of a good try last time, you're getting 8-1. I don't know whether we'll get that, but if you look up and that 8-1 is live, you certainly want to take an extra look at Sun Summers. So I have it 5-1, 4 and 10.
Nice. I originally went 1, 5, 10, 2, and then upon further review, I moved the 2, Platinum Painter, up. Juan Vasquez coming up from downstate and had essentially, challenged at a nice level in the Dr. Penny at Parks, and to me is not much different really than what New York Girl has been doing, and is going to be overlooked, I think, from a price standpoint. 8-1 starting the bidding. How about Jose Lascano off the Grade 1 win yesterday, and a terrific job with Lexingtonian. We'll talk about that on Loose on the Lead. But I wanted to get somebody into the mix here that was going to be forwardly placed. You talked about the turf potentially being, I'm sure they'll call it firm today. They called it good yesterday, but based on the splits, it was not. It was soft in spots, yielding at the very least. And it seemed like you wanted to be on the crown. Horses that were out in like the 4, 4.5, 5 path, the crown of the turf course. So kind of watch a little bit here. I don't know. I suppose the baby race, the second, we might get a little bit of a read. Watch for horses that might be trying to find that path and the best footing, because I won't be surprised either if it's a little soft down inside.
Yeah, because that rained the other night. We got a big puddle out here, and it's still a little muddy out there. So we're getting the kind of weather, though, that helps dry things out. A little breeze and some sun and whatnot.
Exactly. So New York Girl, I put on top out of respect, coming out of the series of graded stakes, but I don't think she has to win by any means. Went outside to Amniarix for Graham Motion. You get IRAD in here. First Lasix, I think, is the notable storyline, and ran okay first North America in the Dr. Penny as well. So I'm kind of leaning on that Dr. Penny, mixing it up well in this spot. So 1, 2, 5, 10 in the 6th.
Sounds good. Let's move on to the 7th. This is an optional claimer with a non-winners of 2 other than condition. In the 7th race, they will travel 3/4 of a mile.
This I thought was a quirky bunch, and I tried Aloha West last time and was disappointed with that effort in the Kelly's Landing at Churchill. And in fact, Bango, who won that race, came back to win. And in fact, I think Mucho. I printed these. I printed the Sunday page when they were drawn Thursday. I think Mucho came back to win yesterday, in fact. So it could be that Kelly's Landing is a little bit of a hot race going forward. So I'm almost sorry that I didn't go ahead and pick Aloha West in here. Instead, went with Town Classic, Maker off the claim for all the obvious reasons, and a horse that's already cleared this condition. So basically is just being raised in price, essentially. And so, I've got nothing real clever. I thought Nighttime, second off that allowance try at Churchill, second race of the season for the 4-year-old Majestic Perfection for Blue Devil, I thought was certainly viable as well. So I went 3, 6, 7. I see you did the same.
I don't have a whole lot to add here.
Right.
I'm not writing the same thing. I will mention, I think cost basis from Chad and Klarovich could be a player in here off a little bit of a layoff. Hasn't been seen since January, working well down at Monmouth. I didn't put that one in my mix, but that's one of those where I had the check marks in the proper columns, and certainly could be dangerous in there. All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, we'll complete our look at Saratoga for Sunday. Also coming up, the play of the day. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the West. I'm Scott Varley at Saratoga's latest and greatest high-rise luxury condo. Starting in the mid-5s, every condo here has 2 bedrooms and 2 baths and upgrades, just like this. Check out these oversized private balconies. We also have a gym, a private lounge, and get this, a heated parking garage. To make a reservation for your private condo at the West, call or text me. I'm Scott Varley at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
We're back on the Handicappers Report. Got to go through the 8th, 9th, and 10th before we're joined by Anthony Stabile for today's DePaula Play of the Day. And a nice group of $40,000 claimers going a mile and a 16th on the Widener and looking for their second career win.
Nice full field in here. I have it 6, 2, 10, and 7. I put amortization on top for Chad Brown and Klarovich. They moved from tougher company in for a tag in the 4th career start. Clearly, broke the maiden at the end of last year, and then they came back off, about a 6-month layoff and tossed in a clunker and allowance company. So these are the kind that are just a huge puzzle. I think there's back class. I think this is a horse that has shown some talent, but did the last indicate the horse has just gone in the wrong direction? But typically with these kind of moves from these connections, you typically get a good run, but you just don't always know. So it is a little bit of a question mark. But if we get that 4-to-1 price on the morning line, I think you're getting about the right payoff to get the question answered. Maribel May in the second spot, also making a move back in for a tag. Last couple of times in for a claiming price, ran decently. That was at the end of last year at Aqueduct, but now in the 3rd start back, moving back into claiming ranks, I think is potent. And then Summer in the City for Todd Pletcher, another one dropping in for a tag, has run for a tag earlier in the career. That was a pretty good second against maiden 50 claimers. Last couple were in saltier, obviously, starter allowance conditions. I think it's going to fit nicely with this group this afternoon, though. I have it 6, 2, 10, and 7.
2, 6, 9, and 10 for me, and a lot of the same thought process. I essentially just put Maribel May on top. Maribel May, a horse that runs just ultra consistently and is going to put in the run. It has not won, in 10 starts at this point now, 9 straight, 10 straight. That's a concern. However, moves inside will save ground for the late run. and it feels like there's enough pace to give hustling Ricardo Santana Jr. A target. So I just kind of reached for Mirabel Mai, just third choice, 9-2, and I think you're going to get every bit of that because both amortization and probably Summer in the City, the morning line favorites, are going to take their share of money. So I thought there was some value involved with the Terra Nova runner. John off to a little bit of a sluggish start, hasn't really sent out that many runners, but looking for a first board hit of the season. And then you go out to the 9, Princess Pinky, and I threw Princess Pinky in also, looking for a price, 8-1 on this one. And JMS Samantha Siegel just missed last time for 30, comes back. This was only her that was her first turf start, and it was more than respectable. Thought that she had every chance in here at a nice price. And again, you got to get Eric Cancel to kind of shake off whatever's ailing him. And at 8-1.
This has the look of a race that could throw real monkey wrenches at the horizontals. Kiss and Run from Falcone with some early speed from the rail. Dave Donk with the long shot winner yesterday with Adrac Rose. I think that horse is maybe better than the 30-1 morning line price. Social Exclusion from Seth. Italian Twin from Mike Maker. I could point to, besides the 4 I picked, another 4 that I would have pretty much equal confidence in. Feature today, the 9th race, named for my old stomping grounds, the Amsterdam Grade 2 event. 6.5 furlongs the trip. 3-year-old sprinters will line up, and it is a very nice lineup of 3-year-old sprinters in here. How'd you see the Amsterdam?
Have you been to the real Amsterdam?
In the Netherlands?
In Holland, yes.
No, I have not.
Well, I give it a nod over the New York version.
We have our nice spots too.
I got to enjoy Amsterdam when I was of the right age to enjoy it. It's a fabulous town. This is a fabulous race, and here's the rematch we've been waiting for of the Woody Stevens and Jackie's Warrior. You sense has got the edge slightly. I won't be surprised if Drain the Clock wins again. Joseph has really done a spectacular job with this one, and the way in which, in fact, they pointed for the Woody Stevens off the Bayshore win and executed that brilliantly for Nick Casada and his slam dunk team. This will be very entertaining. Obviously, I think you got to use both for your multi-race wager approach. I will say there, River Dog and Crowded Trade. Crowded Trade ends up, coming to this, and people are going to think, well, because he scratched, and it's an afterthought. I'd be very careful.
Yeah.
The turn back is a potent angle, and there'll be plenty of pace up front, especially if Irad Ortiz. It's not really his style to engage, too early or immediately, but there is the chance that Jackie's Warrior and Drain the Clock kind of go at it, and Broberg's horse is a turn back as well. But River Dog has got tremendous notes from Mike Welch and the clocking team coming into this. And this is a horse, that is really underexposed, coming off the Mike Lee win and the debut victory. So 2 for 2. So we really don't know what River Dog is. He's going to have to be pretty special to match up with the top pair. This should be very entertaining.
You're right. This is a really intriguing race. I've liked Jackie's Warrior throughout the career, so I'm in the same boat you are. I'm looking for that one to turn the tables with the cut back to the 6.5 today. But there is the potential these two go out and ding-dong it. And I have the same two underneath. Crowded Trade and River Dog could pick up the pieces if things fall apart. It's an intriguing race, the pace scenario, as they come around the far turn and we look at the fractions. This is going to play out to be a fun race, but again, tilted. I've liked Jackie's Warrior right along, so I went in that direction. 3-2, 6-1 for me.
Gets us to the nightcap just in time before we're joined by Anthony, and this is State Breds for $25,000, fillies and mares. 3 and up, going 3/4.
5, 10, 1, and 2 for me. I put Elusive Sight on top for Todd Pletcher. Paid a decent amount of money for this horse. Again, these are the kind that make you scratch your chin a little bit because they paid over $100,000. Second start of their career, they come back for 25 off of only one start. It was last year at this meet. It was, showed some early punch and was an okay, I suppose, fourth. It was only a field of 5, but it was a debut effort. Maybe got some education for that, but now has been off since and comes back for this reduced price. So I could go either way with this one, but I just thought, you know what, off of the layoff and given what they paid, and the horse did show a little punch in the debut last year, I'll tilt in that direction and hope the morning line holds up and we get some value. Not a trace in the second spot. I thought the two off-the-turf races most recently, which bookend turf race, the turf race wasn't much, but the off-the-turfers were okay, and we're getting 8-1 there. And Esatika in the third spot off a decent little third place finish last time for Mike Maker. Irod Ortiz on board. So 5, 10, 1, and 12 for me.
Well, that's amazing that with this kind of a grab bag, we both went 5, 10, 1. I threw in the 7, Curious Mind, at 20-1 for Steve Asmussen and Ricardo Santana. This is a Clark Brewster, excuse me. Is it? Is that the right one? Yes, it is. Clark Brewster homebred and going turf to dirt. And while we're on the turf to dirt subject, a horse that I must have glossed over, and maybe because he was on the 5th page of the PPs, Escapeology, the 14 for Jimmy Bond, puts the blinkers on, debuted going long on the turf, and now shows up sprinting on the dirt. And Ron Anderson thought it was appropriate that Joel Rosario take the call. That's a funky horse on the outside, the 14, Escapeology, that upon further review, I think
last workout is pretty good.
Very interesting.
I like that. I like that. All right, we will head to a break.
Another break?
Coming up next, we have to do the DePaula Play of the Day break, so they can lead into Anthony Stabile and his Play of the Day. You will want to stay tuned for that, and we'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Albany County, an incredible destination to live, work, and play, with easy connections to more than a dozen cities from our vibrant modern airport. It's a short trip downtown to a hive of culture and amusement, from world-class shows at the newly renovated Times Union Center to reliving the past at the New York State Museum. From outdoor recreation to shopping to nightlife, Albany County has something for everyone. We'll see you soon.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes Hot Chaparral. Hot Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
The Capital Region has some of the most sophisticated horse racing fans in the country. That's why Capital OTB built the Clubhouse Racebook. Here you can wager year-round on the best horse racing from around the world. The Clubhouse also has monthly promotions including live bankrolls, handicapping contests, and so much more. Like sports? Watch your favorite teams on more than 30 screens in Legends Field Sports Grill. Food, sports, and the excitement of championship horse racing. Only at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
At DePaula, we think of our customers as family, so we want your experience here to be fair and easy. Whatever you drive, any make or model, DePaula is at your service with 100 bays and master technicians. So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs. At DePaula, we think of our customers as family, so we want your experience to be fair and easy. DePaula can service any truck up to 72,000 pounds, so if you can drive it, DePaula can service it. So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
It's post time for today's DePaula Play of the Day.
Welcome back. Time now for the DePaula Play of the Day. Steve Bick, Seth Merrow in the studio, joined by Anthony Stabile for Play of the Day. Anthony, good morning.
Hi, Seth. There's a lot of pressure, Steve. You've been kicking tail and taking names, my man. I'm happy to see that we're getting all that money raised up there. When I say we, I mean you.
Well, don't be silly. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and your horses have run well. We'll just keep trying to bang them out for everybody out there.
You guys know marathon or a sprint, neither is going to help me. I can't win a marathon. I can't win a sprint. I can't win a foot race. None of it matters. None of it matters.
But we should use this opportunity to promo, though. Hopefully, maybe a winning effort with some Goonie golf tomorrow up in Lake George, right?
Oh, fun.
We're going to Goonie Golf. It's myself and Louis Lazzanaro from my favorite restaurant, Nove. 7-15 so far at Nove for the Big A against Kirk Wyckoff from Three Diamonds Farms, as well as my co-host and cohort on Talking Horses, Andy Serling. We'll go at it tomorrow at Goonie Golf. TRF, Urban Time Foundation, going to be the recipient of a $5,000 donation. Louis and I have some surprises in store as well, so there'll be a little bit more money there tomorrow. But yeah, for a great cause. Listen, they pay us to go to racetrack. They pay me to go to racetracks and casinos. The least we could do is raise some money for our thoroughbred warriors after the racing's done for them. Absolutely, it's a great cause, the TRF. And is there like a double payoff if you do on the windmill hole? Yeah, Andy's got no shot at the windmill hole. I keep telling them they're bringing the proverbial knife to the gunfight tomorrow. When you call yourself the Big A, you can play foosball, beer pong, and mini golf. I'm a great whack-a-mole player. I can do all the things fat guys can do. So they're in a lot of trouble tomorrow. Very good. So we'll be looking for the results of that as well. But today, let's jump in. Play of the day. You're looking at race number 7 today. This is Aloha West. I think this horse is going to be a stakes horse eventually. He's got to overcome some flaws and some kinks in the system, especially early on. But I think this horse has some untapped potential. And Joel Rosario is going to climb aboard today. And I'm the biggest Joel Rosario fan there is. I think Joel's really going to help this horse today. Again, I think he has some blue sky, like I like to say. And I think he's the horse that I want to get going today. He's 3-1 on the morning line. So in race 7, the number 6, Aloha West. What did Chris Berman used to say? Aloha means goodbye. I hope Aloha West says goodbye to this field today at 3-1 in race 7. It's the DePaula Play of the Day. I like it. Anthony, wish you a lot of good luck today with the Play of the Day, and certainly wishing you good luck tomorrow up at Goonie Golf. So knock 'em dead. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks. Good luck today, everyone. Anthony Stabile, Play of the Day, race number 7, number 6, Aloha West, and that'll wrap things up for the Handicappers Report. Anything to add before we wrap?
If I think of something, I'll mention it on Loose on the Lead.
Because we will be on the flip side. Loose on the Lead coming up shortly, and so stay tuned for that.
And the most important question, of course, of the weekend will be answered in about 3 minutes.
So look at the lovely outfit Mr. Bick is wearing, and keep that in mind as we kick off the next hour as well. We will wrap it up for the Handicappers Report. We'll be back momentarily with another Sunday edition of Loose on the Lead. Stay tuned.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.